Silent scream. I am Zainab. The first lesson life taught me was this: happiness isn't everyone's right. I was only 6. The sound of the door slamming shut as my father left the house is still fresh in my ears. I didn't understand it at the time, but as I grew older, I learned all too well what it meant to be a woman's weight. My mother. I remember the dark circles under her eyes, the tiredness in her hands. She always tried to appear strong. She'd look at me and my little sister and say, "Everything will be okay." But those words were actually lies she told herself. In elementary school, I'd walk home alone while the other kids' fathers picked them up. People would talk. "He doesn't have a father," they'd say. And I'd stay silent, because silence was sometimes the safest haven. Years passed. When I started high school, life got a little harder. My mother cleaned by day and tailored by night. The only money coming into our home came from her calloused hands. So I focused on my studies. I knew I'd never escape this cycle if I didn't study. But studying wasn't easy either. I remember how many nights I spent working until the break of dawn, my pencil running dry, turning into a blank piece of wood in my hand. My mother would sometimes come quietly to me, stroke my hair, and say, "You'll make it, my daughter." Those moments were what I needed most in life: faith. And then one day, I was 17. I achieved a high score in the Turkish university entrance exam. My name was even in the newspapers. That day, walking home, my steps were as big as my dreams. I wanted to hug my mother and say, "Mom, we're getting out of here." But what I saw when I opened the door was my mother was lying on the floor. Her eyes were closed. A crumpled piece of paper was in her hand. I ran and knelt beside her. "Mom!" I cried. My voice knotted in my throat. My tears froze on my cheeks before they even reached my face. I forced the paper from her hand. It was a tiny note. It simply read, "Be strong, my daughter, because I couldn't be me." At that moment, something broke inside me. The world stopped. Time stood still. Even breathing felt like a crime. After the funeral, everyone offered their condolences: neighbors, relatives, strangers. But no one saw the emptiness in my eyes, because I didn't let them either. I hid my tears in my pillow. I started university. I moved to Istanbul. I clung to success as if I had to complete my mother's unfinished life. Studying by day, working by night, I spent my life constantly rushing. People called me the successful girl. I won scholarships, received awards, graduated from the best law school. But no one knew I woke up in my mother's odorless room in the morning. No one heard me look at her photo and say, "Mom, I made it, but without you." I'm now 28. I'm a lawyer. My office is in one of the tallest buildings in the city. People look at me with admiration, saying, "You're so strong," but they don't know. They don't know that being strong is in fact the quietest scream. Every night when I return home, that little note is still by my bedside. Every morning, when I look in the mirror, I take a deep breath and repeat the one sentence my mother taught me. "Be strong, my daughter. Be strong." And in that moment, the little Zainab inside me embraces her mother's scent.